Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of the Glimmer Bomb, where we're going to be going over the Set 2 announcement that dropped today. If you do not want to be spoiled for the upcoming set of Lorcana, please click away.
Yeah,
There
move
are,
on, because this isn't the place for it.
yeah, there are going to be spoilers galore. So if you want to stay and learn about it, then let's get into it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of cards and stuff, let's actually get into the cards that were revealed
Yes,
today.
please.
I believe we have 12, 1, 2, 3, 4,
13.
6, 7, 13. 13. Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's jump right in.
First off, we have Mickey Mouse Friendly Face, inkable 6 cost with 1/6 stat line with 3 lore, and the ability Glad You're Here. Whenever this character quests, you may pay 3 less for the next character you play this turn. So he's kind of like an Amber Maurice, but for playing characters cheaper.
Kind of, yeah, and he doesn't have the draw factor either. That's
That's
the other part. But for what Amber likes to do, he's perfect. Up to this point in the game, with the first set, we've seen that there's a couple of things Amber likes to do, and one of those things is get a lot of characters onto the board and flood it. So that he's every time he quests, which let's face it, he has 3 lore. 6 lore. He has 3 lore, so you're going to be questing with him pretty much every time. And he is with 6 willpower. He stays a little safer.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be playing a 3 or less character pretty much every turn, in addition to what you're already doing. So
Yeah.
he helps out Amber's game plan. I love it. The art's great. I think this is definitely one of the best Mickey Mouse arts we've gotten so far.
I do love its outfit, and
Yeah.
this is our second Mickey, I think, that is welcoming us into Lorcana.
It's true.
So I guess our headcanon right now is that there's like at least a dozen Mickey Mouses.
There are
just
the
all
further you
around.
go, yeah.
Whichever door you go through, there's one there to welcome you in.
Yep. They all have slightly different outfits on. You'll be able to tell them apart. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay, but there's going to be a lot of them. But for our next card, we have the Queen Commanding Presence. She is a 5 cost, 4/3 stat line with 2 lore. She is Floodborn, and she can shift for 2. And you can pay 2 to shift this on top of another Queen character. And she has the ability of Who is the Fairest. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -4 strength this turn, and chosen character gets +4 strength this turn. So she weakens one of your opponent's characters and strengthens one of yours. So
yeah, I love her. The queen we already have in Amethyst, she's pretty good. Like, don't get me wrong, but she's definitely more of a control-y card, like as Amethyst likes to be. And in Amber, again, this is definitely something that Amber feels like it wants to do. It's an amped up version of the weaker Maximus, not Palace Horse, but the other one, the one that this is an amped up version of that, because not only are you weakening something on their side so you can hopefully challenge in without repercussions, it also is going to buff your character so it can take down something bigger. It's almost like it has support, isn't it? Yeah, that's almost support.
Almost support. I mean, it kind of is, because she does have horror attack herself. So
it's without having
you could
the keyword
almost
there,
without the keyword there, yeah. But also it just kind of gives us a glimpse into that first starter deck, because this is the Queen. That is the face card of the starter deck, and also it makes me really excited to see more villains in Amber. To pair with Hades.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking myself. You definitely wanted to see. I know I do. I know I've wanted to see more villains in Amber just to make that a better possibility.
Yeah.
And I guess, and it kind of where that deck is going to go, I guess, kind of depends on what her shifting target is, because in the deck I would imagine there will be a little queen that you can shift onto. Whether it's Sapphire or Amber remains to be seen.
Yeah.
So, but that'll kind of dictate where we're going with that. So happy it's here.
Yep, and let's move on to our last Amber card. We got a 2-cost song, Zero to Hero, one of my absolute favorite songs from Hercules. Just an absolute banger.
It really is, too.
Yep. With the song, you count the number of characters you have in play. You pay that amount of ink less for the next character you play this turn, which is pretty insane for Amber.
It's really good. It's really good for Amber. Yeah, not on top of the fact that this is Zero to Hero, one of my personal favorite Disney songs. Great artwork. It does it's doing exactly what Amber wants to do. Arguably better than some of the I think Lantern is one of the other cost reduction cards in Amber. Mm-hmm. This does that, but you could get something big out instead of just another 1-drop for free. Yeah, I think it's perfect, and the fact that you can say it's 2 costs, so you sing that with Bodyguard Simba. Come on,
yeah,
you're dropping a big boy for free off of that. That's or at a super reduced cost. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the cards like Surfer Stitch, being able to play that out, because if you're able to reduce them that much, you have at least 2 characters out.
right, exactly.
So you're going to get its effect off, and it'll be interesting to see what other big Amber cards that might get put in, or even if you're just trying to build your board, being able to play stuff out for free and still be able to use your ink to play more of your smaller characters.
Yep.
It's
play like we keep saying, this is I think all 3 of these Amber cards they're pretty good, man. They're all doing exactly what you want to do in that color. So
yeah. So bouncing off of Amber, let's move into Amethyst with Elsa Gloves Off. She is an inkable 4-cost with 3/4 stat line with 1 lore, and she has Challenger +3. So she gets to swing in for 6. Pretty solid. Definitely gets to trade up, but nothing too exciting with this one, at least for now.
The art's good. I think the most exciting part about this card is the flavor text, personally. Because I think this might be one of the first flavor texts that we have that actually directly references Lorcana.
I don't think so.
They might allude to it, but I don't think any cards actually said Lorcana yet, like the actual word itself. I could be wrong. But her flavor text is, the power of ice may not stop the flood, which is really pertinent to the set, but it will help protect Lorcana, which I love that. And she's Storyborn too, which is kind of interesting, that a Storyborn character's flavor text is referencing something from Lorcana and not their story directly.
Yeah, that is true.
It's interesting, I think. It's interesting.
We're bleeding into my channel now.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it's definitely interesting and definitely sets the tone for this particular set. That feels very right at home in this set. But very solid card, and we'll just move on to our next one, which is another face card for one of the starter decks with Merlin Shapeshifter. And he's a inkable 4-cost with a 1/5 stat line and 1 lore, but with his Battle of Wits ability, whenever one of your other characters is returned to your hand from play, this character gets +1 lore this turn.
I really like this card a lot. The art's really fun. Merlin's great. Merlin's just a great character in general.
Yep.
This definitely opens up some fun possibilities with cards like Mickey Sorcerer that can bounce brooms back to your hand.
Facilier.
Big Facilier, yep, that
Yep.
can bounce everything back to your hand. I think this opens up a lot of really fun possibilities for a possibly a sacrifice style deck in Lorcana, which I don't know if they're going to go full banish mode, but this is very similar. It's a very but being able to bounce and benefit from it, it's even more so than just keeping your cards. It's going to be nice.
Yep. And even gives cards like Befuddle a bit more of a home.
Yep, it does too. I was just thinking that myself. Yeah, because you can befuddle your own stuff.
Yep.
Say, especially if we get like a good 1 and 2 drop with when you play them abilities.
Yeah. Yep.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, Brooms is a good candidate for that.
Yeah, right there, because you're shuffling. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, 100%.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. I don't see you being able to get him to like an insane amount of lore in a single turn.
But 3?
But
not
2,
impossible. Yeah.
2, 3, that's still a solid amount of lore. So
yeah.
You don't need to go too crazy with them.
No, exactly.
But even if you have Mickey or Facilier on board, being able to throw a few characters into your opponent's board and bounce them back in hand, and then Merlin sitting there, and it's like, okay, now I can quest for 4 because I challenged your entire board.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he's shaping up to be interesting.
Very interesting.
All right, and our next Amethyst card is our playmat Winnie the Pooh. He is a 5-cost inkable with a 5/5 stat line and 2 lore. Vanilla. He is Dreamborn, hero, and sorcerer. I am looking forward, hopefully, with this set or next set, that we start seeing cards that care more about the subtypes of all these characters. So we see stuff that cares about sorcerers and inventors, and being able to pair those up and have some sort of synergy there. But as it is right now, he is a pretty solid card. 5/5. And
yeah, solid. Absolutely solid. That 2 lore, good stuff there. And like you said, once we get more Sorcerer's Matter stuff, here we go.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be very solid.
Or he could even fit into Heroes Matter too, because he's a hero as well. So
yep, yeah. There's all sorts of things they can do once they start trying to get into those sort of effects. We've already talked about how beautiful this art is.
Seriously, it's so good.
I definitely not something I ever expected to see Winnie the Pooh as.
No, I've never he's always cute and cuddly, but like to see him look, dare I say, imposing, like a little intimidating, because he's clearly a pretty powerful wizard at that point in this story. So I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of. Oh goodness, I might catch some flack. The tortoise from Kung Fu Panda.
A little bit,
yeah. He's
vibe,
like calm and peaceful, but there's a reason why they call him a master of what he's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
There's a reason why he has the title of Honey Wizard.
Right, 100%, 100%.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing more from that. And then our final Amethyst card is another exciting item. Is uninkable 3-cost, the Sorcerer's Spellbook, which I believe this one's referencing the book that's in Fantasia that Mickey kind of floats on when he's floating the study.
Yeah,
against it.
I think you're 100% right. Yeah, I think that's definitely what this is referencing. You can also see the flavor text of this one's interesting too. I just realized that.
Yeah. But before we get into that, the ability is Knowledge. You exert the item and pay 1 ink, and you gain a lore.
It's
what the item deck wants.
It's exactly what the item deck wants. Because we already have Eye of the Fates that does something very similar to this by adding a lore to a character's lore count.
Yeah.
What I've been telling people is you just wait until we finally get something that unexerts items, then it's gonna go off. Like then
Yeah.
like these are already great cards. Eye of the Fates and Sorcerer's Spellbook, both fantastic cards. This one even more so.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you can untap them too, look out because it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I can definitely see a character with like an enter play and being able to unexert an item or
Yep.
something. And then let's look at this flavor text. Lumineers seek the power of knowledge, but must be aware of the price. That is very ominous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So definitely, man. I'm getting into my brain for my other channel.
Right, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, just it kind of feels like to me, kind of filling in a bit of that story of what happened to the original Lumineers. It's like, what knowledge did they uncover that
Right.
made them disappear? What
Right.
did they uncover?
Was it too much for them?
Was it too much for them? Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be very fun for the item decks. With Amethyst wrapped up, let's get back to thinking that Emerald doesn't exist anymore since we only got the one card.
Right.
So
what a card it is, though.
that is true. We have an uninkable 5-cost Bell Hidden Archer with a 3/3 stat line, but with 3 lore. She is a Floodborn with shift 3, so you can pay 3. And her ability is Thorny Arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hands. So, beefed up Flynn Rider ability.
Yeah, way beefed up Flynn Rider ability. I love the fact that just like Flynn Rider, she doesn't have to be banished for this to work. So it can, honestly, you can do this to your opponent multiple times. You can empty, or in a multiplayer game, you can empty multiple people's hands. Theoretically.
Yeah. It definitely pairs well with the characters that give Reckless, so you have to challenge and really force your opponent to have to really try to work around not having to attack that bell.
Yeah, no, this card is gonna draw out removal immediately.
That exactly, and if not, you are questing for 3 every turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
What you got to figure is you're probably gonna get 3 off of her no matter what because you're shifting. So as soon as when you shift on, you can quest immediately. So you're gonna get that 3. The only bad part about her is that you can she's very easily removed by Smash. Smash takes her out, which really sucks, but you're gonna get 3 lore out of her anyway. So she's gonna do her job. Like getting your opponent to discard all the cards in their hand, while it's amazing, your opponent is going to try as hard as they can to dance around that ability.
Yeah. Or at the very least, empty their hand so they don't have a hand to discard.
Right, exactly. But on turn 3, like if we get a 1 or 2 drop Bell, we can shift turn 3. That's hard to get rid of your hand by turn 3. Yeah. If you're on the play, your opponent has only had 2 turns, and they probably have 5 or 6 cards in their hand. Like let's face it. So if you can get her to stick and make them challenge in, money all day long. I can absolutely see why she is uninkable. Definitely makes sense. And another thing I want to say about a lot of these cards, you can tell how the designers are hitting their stride. Oh yeah. You know, you can really see how they're like, okay, we know we know our vision, we know what we want to do with this game. Now let's do it.
So much flavor in all of these, especially with Belle here with her rose arrows. I mean, come on.
Yeah, beautiful. And you never see a Belle in this type of scenario. You know, she's not. Yeah. She's book smart. She's very introverted. She's not the hunter running through the woods, but I do very much love this Robin Hood-esque version of her. It's very, very nice.
Now that I've seen it, uh, uh, with another card that we're gonna see soon, she is also Floodborn, and the Gaston that is on Floodborn,
Yeah.
they have traded spaces.
They have traded.
She's the hunter, and he's the thinker.
Oh,
That's very
interesting.
flavorful there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So yeah, we'll get to Gaston soon, but before that, we gotta go through a couple of Ruby cards. Our first one is Inkable Forecast 5/3 Rhea, Warrior of Kumandra.
Kumandra?
Kumandra. I hope I'm not butchering that. That's another movie on my list that I haven't seen. We'll hopefully get to give it a watch soon.
I actually had to ask my son when we heard that Ryan the Last Dragon was going to be in the set when we had the leaks initially. I had to ask my son. I was like, "Dude, have I watched that one? Because I don't really remember it. Apparently, I have seen it, but
Yeah.
I have to watch it again."
Yeah. She's a 5/3 with one lore. Storyborn, hero, princess. Goes right along with Mulan.
Mm-hmm. She is functionally identical to Scar Fiery Usurper.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he's a villain and she is a hero princess, which I think that might make the difference in how useful these cards are.
Yeah.
Her and princesses probably pretty great. She's really good offensively. That 5 strength is gonna get rid of a lot of things that you're worried about. Like she takes down Cusco and being able to maybe restand or unexert with Moana could be pretty fun. Like you said, having her in the same deck with Mulan definitely going to be fun. So I'm excited.
Yep. And then our second Ruby card is our first look into the Great Mouse Detective with 4 cost an inkable item with Dinner Bell, with the ability You Know What Happens, where you can exert the item and pay 2 ink to draw cards equal to the damage on chosen character of yours, then banish them.
Pretty I love this card. Yeah,
yeah,
I love this card. The Great Mouse Detective is one of my favorite Disney movies from back in the day. Such a good movie. Seeing it finally represented is really, really fun. Whether we get more or not from that franchise, we'll see, because this might be one of the one-offs like we got in the first chapter. I hope not. Also, the ability here, I believe that this is our first draw in Ruby. I don't think we have any other draw in Ruby. So that's super interesting. No. That's gonna make Ruby that much more viable in a color combination other than Ruby Amethyst. Because right now Ruby Amethyst is kind of where you want to be, because Amethyst has the best draw, arguably. But if you can give each color their own ways to draw, they won't have to run with Amethyst, and that opens up a lot more deck combinations, I think.
The other thing with the Dinner Bell, it feels like a reverse Rapunzel almost, where instead of healing up your character, you're finishing them off to get the draw.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a very good point. It is, because you're taking advantage of your damage in a different way, but you're accomplishing the same goal. Like, and especially in Ruby, because I don't know that Ruby has any ways to heal, and I don't know that we'll see any ways to heal in Ruby, because it feels very much like Ruby's the banish, unexert color. That's a lot of what they have going for them. So I don't think we'll see it, but this is a fun way to play around. Yeah, I'm gonna swing in, say with a Maui, take X amount of damage, and then be like, well, now I'm gonna refill my whole hand. Yeah, like you can refill 5 cards. So, or no, 4 cards.
Yeah,
at most off of him.
Still needs to be alive at the end of that challenge. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. I mean, heck, there's a lot of characters that have big willpower. Stitch Abomination, the Ruby Stitch has 6 willpower. That's pretty awesome. This could actually open up cool pathways with the Shift Scar from set 1 too, because he's a 6/6, which is pretty beefy. A lot
Yeah.
of the other stuff in Ruby though has higher strength and willpower. I've noticed.
Yeah. So may have to look at some of the other colors and see what some of their.
Sapphire is probably a good candidate for that.
Yeah, they got a lot of high willpower.
Yeah, high willpower characters. Like you got Triton and
Triton,
Uninvited Guest.
Mufasa, even.
Yep, Mufasa. Yep, lots of good stuff. That could be fun.
Maleficent, Uninvited.
Yeah, true. Yep. That horrible pain in the butt of a card.
All right. Speaking of my horrible pain in the butt, Sapphire, let's move on to our one Sapphire card, which is our other face card for one of the starter decks, the Gaston, Intellectual Powerhouse. He's an unequal 6 cost, 4/4 stat line with 3 lore. He is also a Floodborn with shift 4. And then he has the ability Developed Brain. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put one in your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your deck. So a nice play on Develop Your Brain.
Yes, I love that. That's so much fun that they're playing off of their own cards and making their own in jokes at this point.
Yeah,
because you notice it nets you one card to look at more than Develop Your Brain.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a lot of fun to play around with. 3 lore is great. Also, we already know that being able to shift on turn 4 potentially is awesome. Netting a card of your choice of 3 cards, really good. I could see this finally giving Sapphire a little bit of aggro almost. You know what I mean? Because this is a pretty fast, aggressive card.
It is, especially if you can get him out on. Actually, if there's a cheap enough Gaston, you could get him out on turn 3 if you ramp.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. If you can ramp a little bit into him, oh my gosh, yeah. You can.
Yeah, so if there's a 1 cost Gaston and Sapphire for some reason, and then you turn to 1 jump ahead.
Yep. So yeah, then on turn 3 you ink a card. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Right. that would be crazy, but we'll see if we get that 1 cost Gaston somewhere.
It's true. we will get a Gaston to shift off of. It'll probably be. I would imagine that it's going to be in the deck since Floodborn is the whole shtick behind the set. Him and the Queen are the face cards of that deck, which it feels like it's doing a lot for shifting. So
yeah,
I think it's a good possibility that we see a little Amber or Sapphire Gaston to be able to pop off with, because that would fit right along with LeFou being cheaper when there's a Gaston on the field. It opens up a lot of really fun synergies if you're going to go Sapphire Amber aggro. Maybe we might see that deck. We might see that deck come out in the next set, because even the Queen is shift 2, which is super fast in my opinion. That's not. It all really depends on their target. Their shifting targets. Honestly, I really think that's what it depends on.
Yeah,
brilliant card, great art, and if you notice too, on his magical chalkboard there, he's laying out the plan of invading Beast Castle.
Yep, and the end goal of being in love with Belle.
Yep.
So
I think that the beast that we see on the playmat is also going to be a shift beast, and he's going to be the beast from this world. It's where they have switched roles. Beast will have been turned into part of the castle, kind of like everybody else is turned into part of the castle.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where my head
That's a theory.
At. Yeah, that's where my head canon's at.
There you go.
Man, we still got some really fun cards to talk about, man. Holy, I can't believe that we got 13 such interesting cards.
Yeah. So let's move into our last couple here, with our first one being Cinderella. uninkable 7 cost, 5/5 with 3 lore, another Floodborn. Floodborn Hero Princess Knight is a new subtype.
Yep.
She has Shift 5 and a new keyword, which is Resist +2. And this means that damage dealt to this character is reduced by 2. And then she also has the ability of the Singing Sword. Whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn.
Bananas.
There's a reason she's a super rare. Yeah.
Seriously. Like, this card is going to make so many waves, because we've already seen that there's a pretty good Steel Amber singing deck.
Yeah.
She fits right in there perfectly.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the archetypes that the designers really saw and fleshed out. And that resist mechanic is going to be a lot of fun too, because you're not going to be afraid to challenge as much. She essentially can challenge into any 1 or 2 strength character and take 0 damage.
Yeah. I just noticed that it works both ways. It's not like a your turn thing where you're challenged. It's both ways. Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah.
Resist is going to be crazy. It was the obvious. Obviously, it went into steel. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I think back in the day I talked about how steel was going to be the bolstering color and the buffing color.
Yeah.
This is kind of in that vein. So I'm going to chalk that one up to a win or a partial. I'll give myself a half a point for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the art on her is amazing.
Oh yeah, I'd never. One of those things where it's like I'd never think of doing Cinderella as a knight.
Right. Like, it's got the same energy as the Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard, where it's like they're taking these very beloved characters. Honestly, you can say that for several of the characters in this set. But you're seeing them in such a new light that you'd never have thought about before. You're like, I never thought Cinderella could look like so cool and like so strong, you know?
We'll go ahead and move on to our last starter deck card with Tiana. She is uninkable 4 cost, 1/4 stat line with 2 lore. She also has the resist +2 keyword, and she has the ability, what you give is what you get. While this character is exerted and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. So she kind of gets around the kind of weakness of resist, in which you can use hard removal like Dragonfire and be prepared.
But what you also have to understand is cannons, smash, and sword are all affected by resist because they deal damage.
Yeah,
I just realized that. So essentially, Cinderella and Tiana both are unaffected by grab your sword, which is really cool.
Yeah. So those mirror matches with steel are going to be pretty interesting.
They are. They really are. They really, really are.
But yeah, they get around that. That ability gets around the weakness to the actions that give hard removal.
Right.
So
I do like how Tiana is similar to Beast's Mirror because it rewards you for not having a hand.
I am interested to see how that deck goes, because that is a very difficult situation to put yourself in when you're top decking.
Yeah.
So I wonder what that deck would look like in order to get that to work decently.
I agree. Yeah. We'll probably see more pieces.
I just realized what pairs well with this, with Steel, is all these discard cards that you have, like Ransack and Simba.
Oh, yeah, Simba, yeah.
So
you're right. You nailed it on that one.
So you got your discard. Now, most of those just kind of replace themselves, but I feel like there's going to be something where you're discarding stuff intentionally.
Yeah.
And trying it. Yeah. I just know there's a discard angle for steel, so I'm wondering
There
if this
absolutely
is
is.
gonna play into this. So I'm definitely looking out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. The being able to shut down actions on your opponent's side while being able to survive like this, it's going to be really hard to get around her because, like you just said, she once you have her turned sideways, she shuts down spot removal, she shuts down be prepared. You have no choice but to challenge into her at this point,
Yep.
and you're going to be doing 2 less damage every time you do it. So,
Yep.
good luck.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of that immediately gets around this is if it's late enough in the game, is stuff like Hades and Dragon Maleficent, where it's those effects on a stick.
True. That's
Yeah.
true. Yep, that is true.
But still, I'm also interested for future cards to be revealed in the set if we're going to get higher resist numbers, because both of these have abilities attached to them. So I wonder if we'll get a character that is just has the resist and it'll be like resist 3 or resist 4 even.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. Because like you said, especially Cinderella's got like a wall of text. She's got three
Right.
three different abilities essentially. I can almost guarantee you we'll see. Maybe not even in steel. It might be in the off color because as we've seen so far, most colors, most mechanics are in 2 colors.
Yeah.
So sometimes 3 because I think evasive's in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So main color obviously is going to be steel for resist. But I could also see it being an amber. That seems kind of like an ambery type of thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to see more. Honestly, this is just brought me right back into it. This reminds me so much of the past year of all of us hanging out and speculating and getting new cards and being like, what does it do? Let's find the combination.
Yep.
It's I love it, man. Spoiler season is back in full force, and I can't wait.
Yeah, man, even more fun because we already have set 1, so we can already look and see where these cards go in in some of our old decks. But we also already have stuff where it's like, what's this new thing that's going to be coming out of this set, and what does that look like?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I can't wait to see how this shifts up, what decks people are using, what decks become viable now because of this. Because you're going to be able to... I feel like Cinderella and Tiana both lend themselves to almost steel control, which I don't think we've seen yet so far, so...
Not quite
I think that could be a lot of fun. I know people have tried to go like Sapphire Steel Control. I think that kind of ends up more mid-range. That's what it feels like to me,
Yeah.
So I think this might be the push it needs to get it to a true control deck, because like this is like Resist is kind of doing exactly what a control deck wants to do. It's like, I'm going to have my people just hang out and you can do less to them.
Yep. It's almost emeraldy in a way.
It is almost, yeah. I can see that could also be one of the off colors for Resist too. Emerald might like if we get some of the bigger, beefier characters in Emerald, I could see that happening definitely.
Yeah, and usually for the off colors, it's usually like a conditional on the ability. So I could turn, like, or when this character is challenged, it gets resist too. And it just doesn't get the proactive side of it. Yeah. So I could definitely see that being a thing.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this probably very long Glimmer Bomb. We've already been recording for over an hour.
Glimmer Bomb.
It is a giant Glimmer Bomb.
It needed to happen though, man. Spoiler season for Rise of the Floodborn, man. Lorcana Set 2. Let's get this, man. Coming out in about 2 months, actually. 2 months and 5 days, something like that. Because it's September 12th today, and it comes out November 17th at your local LGS and December 1st at big box stores. So, keep an eye out for that, guys. Hopefully the numbers have been up. I'm just going to try to stay hopeful, stay positive about it. Hopefully, because I've been talking to other people about this a little bit. I think they may have had enough time to catch set 2 to bump the numbers up.
Yeah.
But that remains to be seen. So,
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right, brother. This was awesome, man. Glad we got to do this.
Yep. Just be sure to subscribe so you can catch the next one. We're going to be doing our best to stay on top of these new reveals and as things come out. And as always, we're going to be keeping on top of how Set 1 meta is shaping up to be. So keep an eye out for that as well. So subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment and let us know which one of these 13 and what products you're looking forward to, which are the starters. Just let us know what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
But for now, just Glimmer on.
Glimmer on.
And then let's move on to our single emerald card.
You skipped Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, no, I did not, through the magic of editing.
I know, right? They'll never know. They'll never know, Blake.
They'll never know. All right. I skipped Winnie the Pooh. I did not. Even through the magic of editing, I can put it before the item.
It's true. It's true. Yep. You can put it right where it's supposed to be, and that's okay.